I'm calling this meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council to order this Monday, December the 16th, 2024. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Gatewood.
Here.
Councilmember Budge.
Here.
Councilmember Terry.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Here.
Mayor Sander.
Here. And Madam Clerk, if you could announce the meeting video recording playback schedule, please.
The meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council is recorded and closed captioned. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay on Thursday, December 9th at 9 a.m. and Friday, December 20th at 6 p.m. And I'm sorry, that's Thursday, December 19th. I should wear my glasses that are on my head. On Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand and youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. A DVD copy is available from the City Clerk's Department, and a webcast of this meeting will also be available on the city's website within 48 hours of adjournment of this meeting.
Very good. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I see we have two former mayors of Rancho Cordova in the room. I'm going to ask them to come forward to the podium. I did not ask them in advance, but I'm pretty sure they're up to it.
I say there are four other people here that are former mayors too.
Oh, that's true, but only two in the audience.
True.
Only two emeritus.
Emeritus, there we go. And if you two could decide how between you will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, do a little immediate negotiation. And then we will have an invocation led by Tammy Hartman. So if you want to remain standing after the pledge, there will be an invocation.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And is Ms. Hartman present? Yes, she is with the Law Enforcement Chaplaincy of Sacramento.
Please join me. As we gather here today in service of our city and its people, may we be guided by wisdom as we seek to make decisions for the common good. May compassion lead us to listen, understand, and act with fairness, always keeping the well-being of every member of our community at heart. Grant us the strength to work together with respect and integrity, to value diversity as a source of strength, and to build a future where all feel heard, seen, and supported. In this place of leadership and responsibility, may our actions reflect justice, humility, and peace. Let us serve with open minds, steady hands, and committed hearts. And may the work done here today be a blessing to all who call this city home. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, celebrity mayors. That's Ken Cooley, in case you didn't know, and Bob McGarvey, both former mayors here at City of Rancho Cordova. All right, we are moving on to item number 5. If the clerk would read that title, please.
The title is a resolution certifying the results of the November 5th, 2024 general municipal election with regard to 3 members of the City Council.
And Stacy, I'm going to call on you again for the staff report.
Before you this evening is the adoption of the resolution certifying the results of the November 5th, 2024 general municipal election with regarding to 3 council members. On December 3rd, 2024, the Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections Office issued the certificate of facts disclosing the results of the election. As a result of the election, the following city council members have been elected to the city council for full 4-year terms. David Sander, Council District 1, Joe Little, Council District 3, and Siri Pulapati, Council District 4. At this time, I would ask the city council to adopt the resolution before you.
So moved.
Do we have any public comment?
I do not have any public comment for this item.
Anyone
Second.
in the room wish to comment? Any council members have questions?
Nope.
All right, motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
So I heard a motion from Terry and a second from
Budge.
Councilmember Budge.
Just so that I'm on the minutes at some point for this meeting.
Killing it.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Budge.
Yes.
Councilmember Gatewood.
If I abstain, can we hold Donald here for one more meeting?
Nope.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Hey.
And with that, I'm going to make some room at the dais. You all have a great meeting. Behave yourself.
All right, we are moving on to item number 6, the special ceremonies of swearing in council members. So I am going to call on, this is how it's written out for me. And he's out. I am going to call on Dr. Margaret Parsons to swear in David Sander.
Only if you want to.
Or we can use those.
You can.
We'll try those.
Up to you.
I just say that,
This evening, I am proud to, am I on? I'm good? Yep. I'm proud to be able to swear in my husband, David Sander, for another term on the Rancho Cordova City Council. So we will begin. For the office of council member, Council District 1 of the City of Rancho Cordova, I state your name,
I, David Sander,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully execute
discharge
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
There you go.
So help me God. How many was that? Terms. How many swearings?
I don't know.
6? I think it's double digits.
6? Well, to add the vice mayor and the mayor and the elected.
Sorry for a little less formal on that. I think we're into double digits on swearing in between terms elected vice mayor and mayor. That's happened a lot, so thank you for that, Maggie. And I also want to say, she's like a professional city clerk now. Having done it so many times, I think she was like permanently sworn or something, so anytime you need to be sworn at, there's your person. All right, I am now going to call on Ken Cooley to swear in Joe Little.
Stand with them.
It's an honor to administer this oath of office in this room, where at least 2 residents of Lincoln Village wrote messages to the future on November 9th, 2005, about the future of the city on the concrete floor. So, Mr. Lincoln Village, I state your name,
Joe Little,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
And why don't you switch the mic and you put your hand up? Let's do this.
Hand up.
Very good.
Just following instructions.
That's on me. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
and I will well and faithfully discharge
And I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Joe Little, congratulations on you are a council member.
Okay.
Wait. I got something came from King Cooley. It got handed down to me.
It's okay, it's only one of a kind.
It's going down. It's going down.
Like this one?
No, the original, when you did the first one was all kind of.
This is the,
Oh, no, it's not that
and now it's my pleasure to call on Brother Vijay Pulapati to swear in Siri Pulapati.
Hello. It's my honor and pleasure, and I'm truly weirded out that I'm swearing in my little sister. But that's how it is. All right. Your right hand up. Yeah. For the office of the council member, Council District 4, for the city of Rancho Cordova, I, Siri Polipart, do solemnly swear that I'll support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Support and defend the Constitution of the United
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, and I'll bear the true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and I will take this obligation freely
and I will take this obligation
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
and I will faithfully
Upon
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
All right, next we have item number 7.1. If the clerk could announce the subject, please.
The subject is the selection of the 2025 mayor and vice mayor.
And Stacy, it's, you have the staff report for this?
I do. We generally have a swearing in of the mayor and vice mayor, which is taking place today. And we need to select a mayor and a vice mayor for 2025. We generally have a rotation that works amongst yourselves, and we are looking for a motion to be able to select that mayor and vice mayor for 2025.
Very good. Do we have any public comment?
We do not have any public comment for this item.
So, Mr. Mayor, I would move that we select Siri as our mayor for 2025 and Garrett for our vice mayor as 2025.
I will second that motion.
Hey!
All right. Any other council comments or questions?
I got a comment.
No.
Oh, it's too late now. I got a mic. I don't know if you guys understand this, but you probably do in the community. This is our first Indian female Asian Pacific mayor ever. And for our community, that's a big deal. So our community of this end. Great job, Siri.
From my perspective, it's the second time we've had a woman on this council, and I appreciate that.
Any other comments? All right. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Budge.
Yes.
Councilmember Little.
Yes.
Councilmember Gatewood.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye.
Yeah.
Unanimous vote. Congratulations. Now we're moving on to item number 8. We have to swear in, or in this case, swear at a vice mayor. So I think Mr. Stephen Gatewood is here to swear in Garrett Gatewood.
I don't know if I'll be able to work without a mic to project my voice.
Mr. Gatewood Sr., don't turn your back to the camera.
Look that way. There you go. Smile. Look
These
good.
were all working just beautifully.
It's fine. It's fine. I can.
Hello? Mine's working.
I know.
Just go ahead, Dad. I got this. Read.
Just, you might have to.
I might project.
Okay.
You ready, Garrett? Yes. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get Santa ready. All right. Let's do this.
All right. For the office of mayor, vice mayor of the city council of Rancho Cordova, I
Garrett Gatewood,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the state of California
of the state of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign
foreign
and domestic,
and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution
and allegiance to the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the state of California.
and the state of California,
That I take the obligation freely
that I take the obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully discharge
faithfully discharge
the duties upon which
the duties upon which
I am about to enter.
I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, Garrett.
All the Jesus.
He's kind of quiet, isn't he?
I am. They couldn't hear me over the mic without a mic. Thank you. All right, Mayor, get up there.
Next up, we have item 8.2, the swearing in of the mayor. I'm going to call on Sacramento Superior Court Judge Jaya Badinga to do the swearing in. Welcome.
Testing.
Testing me too.
This is starting to look rather professional, so yeah. That's good.
Good evening to the incoming City Council members, to the City Manager, the City Attorney, and to the City Clerk. Good evening also to Mayor Emeriti, who are present here in the audience, as well as the community representing the City of Rancho, Cordova, that is out in full force today. I am here this evening with great pleasure for the office of Mayor of the City Council of the City of Rancho, Cordova. I see that Ms. Pilipati has already raised her right hand. And so I state your name. I, Siri Pilipati, Do solemnly swear do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and defend that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the Constitution
Oh.
of the State of California
of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
I am truly humbled and grateful for the opportunity to serve as mayor for Rancho. We will fix our mics. As the Honorable Judge said, and as Council Member said, as the first Asian American on Council, I truly recognize the importance of diversity in leadership and the responsibility that it brings. So I am committed to represent every resident of Rancho Cordova, that every voice is heard and every resident is valued. So I will continue on my priorities of education, economic development, and ensure public safety, and we move better together forward. Better together, a smart and sustainable Rancho Cordova. Thank you. Picture time. Okay, now, as the new mayor, I get to recognize our outgoing mayor. Those are big shoes to fill. I mean, quite literally. They're big shoes. I know, quite literally. David, you know, your council members and your council colleagues and I would like to recognize and thank you for serving as Rancho Cordova's mayor in 2024. It was a memorable year, a year where you served not just as mayor of Rancho Cordova, but also as the president of NLC. This means that while you represented Rancho Cordova right here in our community and region, you also brought Rancho Cordova to the national and even international stage, visiting cities across the United States and across the globe. To give you guys a sense of how much Mr. Sander traveled across, you know, we had this Where's Waldo with Mr. Sander here. He attended 25 local and regional community events. He visited 24 cities across the US, from Anchorage, Alaska, and even as far as San Juan, Puerto Rico. He traveled internationally to Switzerland and Korea, and met some interesting people too, including Switzerland's ambassador, Chief Jose Andres, and the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. He actually was on the same stage as the president. Of course, you were taller too, right?
Your shared ideas from Rancho Cordova with other jurisdictions, including our city's success in acquiring grant dollars, building infrastructure, catalyzing community partnerships, and so much more. You know, our new council, we have a scientist, an engineer, a lawyer, a planner, and a technologist. But his theme was cities as laboratories of democracy, which did allow him to wear a lab coat while serving as a mayor. But it also allowed us to see the city in a different way. You showed us that cities like Rancho Cordova are places for discovery, where we have the opportunity to explore and test new ideas that contribute to our broader understanding of the world. So this evening, we thank you for your service to our community, for singing praises of Rancho Cordova far and wide, and for your dedication and commitment to the role of mayor for Rancho Cordova in 2024. Thank you.
Oh, look at there. You got your picture.
All right, thank you very much for that, Siri. Thank you, colleagues. It has been a remarkable and interesting year to serve as your mayor in Rancho Cordova. We've had a very eventful year, a very successful year as a city. Talked about that at State of the City quite a bit. I'm not going to rehash any of that. But I do want to thank everybody here for their support that they have given me, and through me, support for the city this past year as I've served as NLC president. I'm now a past president, and I'm sort of sentenced to past presidency of NLC for life, at least as long as I'm in office. So going into this year, I thought we would probably see a lot of benefits in 2024 directly, and we did see some. I honestly now, though, with that experience, think we're going to see more in the future from investing in me in that year than we did this past year, because I won't be constantly traveling. I'll actually be able to leverage some of the connections and still stay completely in the mix of what's happening in the leadership at NLC. So that was a really remarkable year. I was trying to put some numbers on it today to figure out how many miles I flew or how many cities I visited. Maria and Siri, you found a few of them, I see. It was something like 69 travel days, over 100,000 miles flown, I know, this year. So it was a pretty remarkable engagement. There was one point at which I was literally traveling for 5 weeks solid without going home, and I had to do remote meetings. So I thank you for accommodating me for all that, and I really want to thank staff for supporting me in that, because I know it was challenging. I felt like I took over a city employee just trying to schedule myself for the year, between travel arrangements and conflicting meetings and trying to arrange between different offices where I was supposed to be or what I was supposed to be saying. There was no way I could have done that on my own. So
I'll bet Maggie knows how much you were gone.
yeah, she has a record we like to call the honey-do list that can kind of document, you know, the time that I've spent away versus the number of things that, you know, need to get done. I think she said one of the biggest problems is there was no one there to take out the trash. So you can imagine what a crisis that was. But in any case, I am so pleased, you know, with with the outcome of this year, and I'm so looking forward to the next year, working with all of you colleagues. There are so many great things we can accomplish as a city. We did a great job this past year, but as one of the founders of this city said, and as it's written on the wall back there, Rancho Cordova's future is greater than its past, and I think that's never been more true than tonight. So thank you all very much. With that, we are going to recess for a celebratory period of about 20 minutes, which means Mayor Pulapati will be calling us back here at 6:25 p.m. to resume our meeting. We will recess.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Little.
Whoa, that was good. That was
Council
good.
member, you can press the green button.
He's back.
Yeah, that's the second time I've been told that here.
Nice.
Councilmember Sander.
Here.
Councilmember Budge.
Here.
Vice Mayor Gatewood.
Yep.
Mayor Pulapati.
Here.
Hey. Woo, this is good. This is exciting.
Okay, we're going to start with presentations, and there are no presentations this evening.
Keep it up. Hurry up.
We're going to go with public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the council for any matter not on the agenda may do so at this time by completing and submitting a speaker card to the city clerk. For items on the agenda, speakers will be called by the mayor at the point on the agenda when the item will be heard. Speakers are encouraged to keep comments to a minimum of 3 minutes or less and to state name and community of residence. Under the provisions of the California Government Code, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking immediate action on any item not on the agenda, unless it can be demonstrated to be of an emergency nature or the need to take immediate action arose after the posting of the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
Yes, we'll start with Laura Popiak. If you'll come forward, you'll have up to 3 minutes, and you'll want to adjust a microphone.
This one?
Yes.
Hello. All right. Good evening, council members, and my sincere congratulations, Ms. Pulapati. I love seeing a woman up there as mayor, so congratulations. I have resided in Rancho Cordova for almost 20 years. My kids played ball, in fact, with some of your kids. They graduated from Cordova High. I volunteer with multiple city organizations, including in the past on the city's Measure H Community Enhancement Board. And my son was killed on Zinfandel from an unprotected left turn, showcasing that this city is growing so fast without any protections for citizens. I am here because I and many of my neighbors are concerned about the size of the holiday tree lighting event, the plastic left behind, and the fireworks in Capitol Village Park. This event has simply outgrown the location. These issues pose serious threats to our safety, our environment, and the well-being of our residents. I have brought the garbage that I have collected over the past 2 weeks, including leftover fireworks and a pin that my dog had in her mouth that caused her bleeding, to show you that, in fact, there was garbage all over the park for the last 2 weeks. I spoke with the fire inspector about the low and dangerous fireworks. Now, we all love a good celebration, but fireworks come with undeniable risks. Beyond the physical injuries, fireworks also pose significant fire hazards, especially in dry conditions. No celebration is worth risking a tragedy. Fireworks also create long-lasting harm. Chemicals used in fireworks can pollute our air and water. That brings me to the other issue of plastic waste. Plastic is a pervasive problem that clogs our environment and has a long lifespan. All of these wire ties can last for 5 to 10 years, and they were all over the park. All of these plastic toys from all the vendors and all of these little pull tabs to activate the toys were all over the park. We can't continue to turn a blind eye to the damage caused by both fireworks and plastic pollution. Our children deserve better. I do not like bringing problems to the table without some solutions, so I urge this council to consider policies that reduce or ban fireworks within city limits, look into safer and less harmful alternatives like drone light shows or laser displays, and we know the city has the budget. Additionally, I ask that we continue to invest in reducing single-use plastic, supporting initiatives that encourage recycling, and promoting public awareness about the consequences of our wasteful habits. I also propose a zero plastic event like California, many cities have adopted, even Sac State. Let's prioritize safety, sustainability, and the health of our community over fleeting moments of spectacle. And last but not least, I also urge council members to act with respect and compassion when replying to real concerns on Nextdoor and not argue with their constituents on what they saw with their own eyes.
Please wrap up your comments.
And in fact have collected and brought here today. Thank you for listening to my concerns, and I will continue to work towards a healthier and safer community and holiday event. Thank you.
The second public comment the city received was a written public comment submitted by email from Abharami Duraswamy that was distributed to the city council, placed on the city's website, and it has been placed in a binder in the back of the council chambers. And we have another public comment from YK. You'll have up to 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor Pillipati and newly elected council member. Welcome to the city council, and my good friends and colleagues from the neighboring town, Folsom. I used to be the council member, and I newly got elected to the school board, Folsom, Cordova. So you will be seeing me more often here to bring our togetherness activities between the both cities, especially in terms of the students. But one important thing before I go on that side, the process you have to elect the mayor is awesome. I'm sure Linda and Mr. Sanders, you all put together that one. Not many cities around has that policy. I wish they adopt that from this town. So I just want to say it loud. If Sackby is here, I'm going to say it also. Even I can say it to my fall sometimes, the same thing. If there is a good around, adopt. Just accept and move on. It's important. And again, going back to my school board one, yes, it is a brand new team out there as well. I'm the newbie, but most of them are out there. But it's very important. I know you guys have worked so hard, and your citizens has worked so hard to pass that 2 bonds. I want to assure you, even as a new school board trustee, not even sworn in, we will be very due diligent, spending that money more wisely, getting a big bang for the taxpayer dollars. I just want to give that word to assurance to all of you. Thank you again, Mayor Pillipati. Thank you so much one more time. Congratulations to all of you to making the first Indian American on the dais, even in this entire site. Thank you again. Congratulations and good luck. Vice Mayor, we'll work together. Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations to you too, YK. Madam Clerk, any more public comment?
That is all the public comment that we have.
Okay, with that, we will go to council report. Can I start with Councilmember Joe Little, if you have any report?
You should let David do it first.
Okay, in that regard, that's a good idea. I will ask Councilmember David Sander for an update.
I am so tempted to say no report. Which is a standard you can adopt in certain situations, maybe yours. Thank you. It has been an incredibly busy 2 weeks. I've come from Alaska and Florida, where I was speaking at a couple of events, the last 2 for this year.
How do you pack for a trip like that?
Yeah, it is a ridiculous one. Yeah. Very heavy clothes to be outside in Alaska, and then you're at the beach.
Then you're naked.
Well, not that. But yeah, I won't travel again until January 4th, I think. So I have like a reprieve. But so many great things going on in Rancho Cordova. What is just overwhelming is to look at all the events of all the Christmas and holiday related activities. So many that you can't even attend them all because they're overlapping each other. And it's just a great metric of how healthy our community is, how healthy our nonprofits are, to be doing all of these events literally at the same time and celebrating the season. It's a change from what Linda and I would have seen 20 years ago, when we in the community council were really trying to stimulate these sorts of activities, and now they're everywhere, and they're not all community council activities, which is a beautiful thing.
And the majority of them are free.
That's right. So with that, that will be my council report. I'm going to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and blessed holidays.
Thank you. Councilmember Budge.
Oh, thank you. So Regional Transit met. It was a very standard meeting, and we just heard a lot of year-end reports. City manager and government affairs manager and I met with our council member, our assembly member, Mr. Hoover, and we talked about city priorities. We had a really great conversation and decided that we would definitely want to continue that kind of communication. It was my great privilege to teach the Arts, Culture, History, Entertainment, and Sports module at Leadership. We wrote a new segment to that particular module, talking about the economic development of those activities. Now, we heard Visit Sacramento talk a couple of weeks ago. Visit Rancho Cordova talk a couple of weeks ago about what they bring to this city. But they bring in $315 million in expenditures in Rancho Cordova every year. The California Capital Air Show at Mather brings in vast numbers beyond that. The module that David and Shelley and Diane and Micah did for the California League of Cities last month talked about the amount of activities there are in the arts. This is an incredible investment. And actually, our California Capitol Film Office just brought an entire speculative series production to Rancho Cordova. The entire thing was filmed here in Rancho Cordova. All of the expenditures, with the exception of a small number of cast members, were Rancho Cordova locals. All the extras were our neighbors, so we have to look for them. And this is something that the California Capitol Film Office expects to do more of as time goes on. This is really absolutely phenomenal. Can you consider, like David said, what we did not have 21 years ago and what we do have today to be incredibly proud of? It's just absolutely amazing. Thank you, Micah and city staff. We had a very nice city Christmas party on Friday night. And so in the going on with the holiday tradition, we attended I took my sister-in-law to see the band at KP Market. Again, remember, guys, nobody but Rancho Cordova has concerts in a grocery store. And it was really great. This year, Siri, I don't know how you skipped out on it, but they got Santa Claus to direct Feliz Navidad. They had a great Santa Claus, and I know I'm not the only one in the room who remembers Burl Ives, but he looked a lot like Burl Ives. He made a really great Santa Claus. And then yesterday afternoon, I took my sister-in-law to see the symphony concert at the Performing Arts Center. Completely different vibe, but just equally delightful. David, as you said, there is so much going on. And so indulge me. A lot of you know I grew up in the Air Force. So when I was a kid in England, and they still have them today, in England they have all these lovely, British Post has all these lovely red post boxes all over everywhere. So it turns out that there's a group of ladies in London who are making decorative knitted and crocheted tops to put on all of the post boxes all over London. And I just thought that was the most adorable thing. Jim, the flute players on Saturday all had little knitted tops on the ends of their flutes. And that's what this reminded me of. All those knitted and crocheted things all over the tops of their post boxes. So, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Gatewood.
All right, so we've had a lot of health issues lately, so we haven't done a lot of fun stuff. But I did go to Miracle on 34th Street and see that in San Francisco, and saw the balloons, and came home and everyone was horrifically sick. But the balloons were awesome. And the Miracle on 34th Street is amazing. And do not eat the hot dogs. Just don't. It's not a good idea. And it's from a vendor, and I thought it'd be cool. It was a mistake. So, my favorite event of all time is, there's two of them. River City Christian brings in some of our most in need community members from Lincoln Village and from a bunch of the schools, and literally gives them gifts, gives them thing, and then like a little coupon thing, and they punch it, and then they go buy gifts, then they wrap the gifts, and they give them to all the kids. And warms my heart to see how many hours, and they doubled it. I think they had like probably 500 people come in, get gifts, and then go through the community with all these fun wrapped up gifts. And just that kind of stuff always is amazing when our community steps up and helps out people in need. And it was every type of culture was there, and they had 4 or 5 translators, and it was a hoot. And so me and my sons ran around trying to help out and working on our really ridiculously bad Spanglish and a little bit of Hindi that I know, just mostly eating words, but I tried to combine it, like Jaka Kana Cow, which I think means go get lunch. Am I close? Maybe. Well, that's why they looked at me weird.
Siri didn't say yes.
Well, kana is food, so I guess, you know.
Nailed it. See? Bam! Woo! Love it. 10th Holiday Parade, Holiday Star event that I did with David. It's awesome. All the kids come. I'm hoping we can make that a little bigger next year. But it's this crazy thing. Well, we need to give them a little bit more money. But we do this thing where we line up all these kids, and then we hype them up to a frenzy, and then we spawn a horn, and then they run through Target with their cop or the person that's helping them, and they throw it all in a basket, and then we buy it for them. And these are some of the most needy kids, and it's great. Plus, it's funny watching the poor reporters try to get in the way and almost get run over as we're like telling them, "Go, kids, go! Hurry!" And then one of the cops threw one of the kids on their shoulder and ran in. And I was like, you don't have to be first. They have supply, but that's all right. That's not the fun. Whoever we're banishing to the Library Authority, that's exciting. We now have had, since you fixed all the problems, our meeting was 17 minutes for me to drive 45 minutes down there because they won't let me do meetings remotely, but it was and they were like, yeah, we're good. Merry Christmas. Budget's good. So they have plenty of money. They're stable, even though, because they passed that bond. Thank you, Rancho Cordova, for coming through, even though we don't actually have a library here. They would love for us to annex in that library. And I was like, I don't know how we would annex in the library to make it ours, but they're doing anything they can. They want to set up a pop-up library in Rancho Cordova, and they would like to see that. So as we get into these board and chair positions and we start talking about that, that's something I think we should really look at. Small pop-up libraries, until we can afford a big one, are really good for smaller kids. They can go to areas and get books. Anatolia doesn't have any type of library, and in the middle of Rancho, there's no place for someone to go get a book if they need one or read, and libraries are critical pieces of the community. And last thing was the holiday parade, which I would have loved to go to, got there, and then I had to go to the hospital. But it was pouring rain, and Rancho still showed up and showed out. I mean, we've had so many events from singing to dancing, and it's just, this is my favorite time of the year. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year if we don't hear from me. And I think Rancho Cordova is about to go into a new era of amazing stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Little.
Hey, everyone. Not too much to report on yet.
You did attend the parade.
How'd you know that?
I know everything.
I was there. I was there. I was wearing a Santa hat. First time ever. Seen it drive by my house, never been in it. But it was really cool. Just there were kids who were waiting all year for it, so it was just awesome to see it from the car's eye view. And yeah, but I'm looking forward to being up here. Happy to finally met everyone up here, and it's going to be a fun 4 years.
Thank you. Welcome. So, Councilmember Budge, the reason I wasn't there is because I was traveling all last week, and my flight got in at 2 a.m. Friday night. I was supposed to get in earlier, but that's another story. Got him at 2 a.m. Friday night, thinking that the run on Saturday morning might be canceled because it was pouring rain. But the city manager said, nope, there are people out here. So 8 a.m., right early, we were here at City Hall for the annual PAL run. There were, I think, nearly 100 people out here. And then it stopped raining right at when we were about to start running, and we had a lot of people show up to sign up on the day. And they were kind of all the way across the road. And there were so many people that showed up to support our PAL Run, which is a wonderful event where we raise funds to support our kids on programs that the police runs. And these are for all kids in Rancho Cordova. You just have to reside in Rancho Cordova. We have STEM activities, we have film activities, we have outdoor, and they're not meant for a particular region or a particular district. This is open to all the kids in Rancho Cordova. And we had nearly 4,500 experiences for these kids that they utilized from the PAL event, and wonderful show of support for the event. And that's my report.
Significant that you dropped the word fun out of that run.
Did I? Well, I did run. Was it fun? And I can see Mr. Rick Sloan out there. I ran with his wife, or because of his wife, Rebecca. She was like, let's go, Siri, let's run. And I'm, okay. So I did run, and it was fun. Fun in the run. Fun in the rain. Sorry. I will pass it on to City Manager for his update.
Thank you, Mayor Pulapati. And I will say, since I witnessed the run itself, that the winner of the elected officials race for the PAL run was Mayor Siri Pulapati. So, we won't talk about how many elected officials ran in the race, but, it was number one crossing the finish line.
She was outstanding in her field.
That's right. That's right.
That ranks right up there with us winning Epi's great race.
Because we were outstanding in our field.
Outstanding in the field.
So, no, there was lots of great events that have been happening in the last couple of weeks, and really kind of shows the spirit of the community and the spirit of not only that you of the council have provided in the community, but also our city staff team who has been supporting a lot of these different events in various ways, whether it's the Lincoln Village Holiday Parade, the Holiday Star event, the PAL Run, Christmas in Cordova. Our Rancho Cordova Police Department team and the PAL team gave out over 300 toys to individuals in our community yesterday as part of the annual Christmas in Cordova event. So just so many different events, so many different great things that are happening in the community. I couldn't be at them all, unfortunately, but I got to some of them and many of them, and really kind of celebrating all the great things that are happening. Really appreciate kind of the opportunity to be a part of those different things that are happening, and really excited about next year and all the things that are happening.
I also have pictures of you line dancing.
I didn't think those survived the Christmas holiday staff event party that we had on Friday, and we weren't going to mention that, Councilmember Budge, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, we're going to move on to consent calendar items. Consent calendar items consist of matters deemed routine and non-controversial by staff. Unless a member of the council wishes to pull an item for individual consideration, all items will be approved by one motion. Are there any items council wishes to pull from the consent calendar? Hearing none, I'm going to ask the city clerk if there's any public comment.
There is no public comment.
May I have a motion?
Hearing none, I will move approval of items 14.1 through 14.4.
Second.
Who was the second? Gatewood. You both raised your hands.
David can have it.
Okay. Sander.
Well, he's not had a chance to second in a year, so.
In a long time.
Yeah. Should give it to him.
Before the end of the year.
So I'll do the roll call. Councilmember Sander.
Aye.
Councilmember Budge.
Yes.
Councilmember Little. Vice Mayor Gatewood.
Yes.
Mayor Pulapati.
Yes. We're going to move on to public hearing items, and there are no public hearing items for this evening. So we will move to regular calendar items, and I will ask the city clerk to announce the subject.
I just want to also mention that there's no consent public hearing items. There's no consent public hearing items, and there's no public hearing items.
Okay.
So we're going to go to the regular calendar items, and we'll start with the approval of council member appointments to regional boards, commissions, and committees. And I have that staff report. City of Rancho Cordova council members represent the city on a number of regional agency boards, commissions, and committees. Each year, the council members discuss and determine appointments for the upcoming calendar year to ensure that the city has representation on these boards, commissions, and committees. Tonight, staff is asking the council to discuss the 2025 proposed council member appointments to regional boards, commissions, and committees that have been recommended and put forward today by Mayor Pulapati, so that we can inform local agencies and commissions of changes and the necessary Form 700s can be filed. Before you, we have about 5 pages of these appointments, and I think it might be best to go through page by page, if that's helpful.
Absolutely.
The appointments for 2024 are listed there in one of the columns, just so everybody can see what has been. And then what has been proposed is in the last column for 2025. These would take effect on January 1st, 2025, throughout the calendar year of 25.
Thank you, Stacy. Colleagues, I know we've not discussed this, so this is a good time to review. Councilmember Little, we have placed you in certain, I have placed you in certain places. You can see if that time works for you, and also we will see if other council members are interested in those positions. So we'll start with page 1.
We're good.
You know, in just a general comment, with some of these agencies, we have, or we should have, multi-year strategies about what we're trying to achieve. And we have not, as a council, met in a retreat sort of format to have a conversation about what those are. So I could certainly bring some up now. I mean, this is not really the appropriate time to have a lengthy discussion. So I would propose that we, at our city retreat, sort of figure out what our strategy is with regard to these different organizations, and then undertake to figure out who should do it. An example I would just give so it makes sense is that I've been working on an initiative to get rid of infill fees, like development fees on infill. There are 2 key agencies to get that done, Regional SAN and SACOG. So maintaining my positions there would have some strategic advantage to do that. And this is so that we can get Folsom Boulevard developed without so many development fees affecting it, fees that we as a city don't control.
Have you had a chance to talk to the facilitator who's doing that retreat in January?
Yeah, I mean, the SACOG has organized part of this.
No, no, no.
GSEC
No,
has also been interested.
no.
Oh, our city
Our
facilitator?
retreat.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
retreat.
So if I can, Councilmember and Mayor, I would actually probably recommend that we find some other work sessions for that in the future and not kind of utilize the kind of visioning retreat for that
Doesn't have to
conversation.
be the
So
retreat.
I'm happy to find a date to start that conversation in a work session format to talk about the strategies related to each of these once they're approved, or if you're still working on some of the appointments. But we're happy to actually talk about that at the next council meeting in a work session format so that we can have that more strategic conversation.
No, that
So,
sounds
happy
good.
to find a time.
I only brought it up because that was one of the questions she asked me today was, what would be your goals for the next year? So that would definitely be one of David's goals for the next year, but obviously.
Yeah, and I'd like to have logical discussions about everything from the Southeast Connector to the different ones, because it's there's big challenges in everything we're doing. We did get $25 million, but there's a lot of back stories with it that I don't think need to be out. But we should have long talks about it as a council and be like, look, is this where we need to put our attention? Because we can only focus our attention on so many places and go for wins, and this goes with the overall strategy. Why are we sitting on this board? You know, like in the end, why are we sitting on the library board? What is the most important thing? Is it just a thing for us to go meet people in the community and get on, how we meet other politicians? Or is there actually a mission within the next 2 years that we can actually focus on? And I'm fine with a no, but I only have a limited amount of time, and I want to focus on what's going to get the biggest bang for our buck for Rancho Cordova. And how do we actually get there? So I agree, that's something we need to do.
So, Madam Mayor, if I can, if there are, as you go through these lists page by page, if there are boards where you feel like you want to, because there's a big list here, not all of them may reach the level of having real, high-level, long conversations and strategic work about. If there are ones that you feel like are the ones that we should be kind of having that conversation, if you can kind of, as we go through this, highlight those ones that you think need that additional conversation for strategy.
I hear what you're saying, but I actually think everything needs that discussion. So I'm okay with if David knows some stuff that he's been working on that we, of course, didn't know, like with regional sands and the poop committee that needs to be. That was messed up. I apologize for that. But I agree that we should approve the ones and then go into this council session and then have a long talk as a group and be like, look, what are we doing on SACOG? And how do we facilitate SACOG getting what we want out of it? We have all these lobbyists and stuff. Let's have a strategic one. And we should go down each one of these. And one of these would be like, listen, Transportation Authority, we don't have there's nothing going on. That we're in eligible to pass our tax. For the next 2 years, it's nothing, right? Or it's, okay, the Southeast Connector, 3 of the board members that we need to be able to get SACOG to turn around and give us the money for that sit on the Transportation Authority. So we need to get in good there and make good relationships in that, because in the end, if we can get 3 more votes, I can get another $25 million. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's go through and pick and think, but when we sit down, because I want to go through every one of these, because if there's an opportunity that we need to focus in, then we need to be there as a group. If there's money somewhere in this thing that I'm not seeing, then we need to get it. If there's some way to improve something that we're doing in Rancho Cordova, I've never heard about the Sacramento Placer Transportation Corridor Joint Super Duper Fragilistic Expialidocious Group. It's do we even need to, is that even something that poor Garrett got stuck
I'd be happy
on?
to tell you all about it. I have to make a report to Regional Transit about it every time we meet. But it's really important, Garrett, and I truly get what you're talking about. But it's really important that remember that prior to the incorporation of Citrus Heights, Elk Grove, and Rancho Cordova, everything in this region was controlled by the city of Sacramento and the county of Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And so as there were other cities who grew a voice, then those cities were invited to the table, sometimes reluctantly, but we've all pretty much had to fight for our voice in those venues. And so if we wanted to give up something, we would really need to, as you say, take a good hard look at what we're doing there and how we make it benefit us.
Right. That's all I'm saying, especially with a new council member. This is an excellent time to go through each of these and really strategically bid. So let's go through this
I understand as an interest of time. So are we selecting today and then we're going back to the retreat and then figuring out for the long term?
So yeah, if you want to select today, we can very much schedule time to go through each of these from a strategic standpoint and kind of what the conversation is. If you're comfortable selecting today, then we're comfortable moving that forward, and we could still have the conversation about strategy in the future.
Let's just do it today and then set up a different time to talk about it in
Fair
depth.
point. So I'm going back to slide number 1. Any changes?
Dave, you would know, is there anything you need that you have on your docket?
I have questions about the Air Quality Management District.
Okay.
I think there's synergy with SACOG there, but frankly, I need a discussion to explore that.
Okay.
As a science guy, I sort of think that might make sense for me to take that up and give up like GSEC.
Okay.
That'd probably be my suggestion.
Joe, you cool with that?
No problem. I'm the newbie.
Don't worry,
I
there's
will-
another poop commission we can stick
I
in.
will give, Mr. Little, I will give you the Southeast Joint Powers Authority as alternate if you choose. So,
Nothing would make me happier.
That's what I like to hear, Joe. Boy, he's killing it right now. I love this new guy.
okay,
This is
slide 2,
dope.
please.
Getting it?
So what I heard was Sander is going to be the appointee for the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management.
At least for a month.
I didn't even think about it. Like, it makes sense to have the science guy on there. Yeah, that's true. And the law guy on the law stuff. Yeah, all right, I like that plan.
So that's the only change on this slide.
No, and then we're going to invite Joe to be the alternate on the Southeast Connector Joint Powers Authority.
Okay, thank
You're going
you.
to love that one. We're having a big fight right now. It's exciting.
Okay. Slide 2.
Page.
We also have a public comment on this item, just in case you want to take that
Is this a good time to take it?
before you finalize.
We'll do it after we find
Yeah,
this.
we'll
Okay.
do it before we do that.
Okay.
So does the scientist need to be on the poop one or?
That was the one I raised earlier.
Yeah, so which one of those? Regional Sands with no one on it?
Yeah, the sewer district and regional sand have merged into.
Oh,
one
they're the same
agency.
thing?
So it's
Okay.
now one agency.
Okay, so how about we bump Joe Little down to the alternate, and then you can take over in the science-y stuff. Everyone good with that? Cool.
I'm past chair there. I'm not going to want to keep that job forever, but
Yes, you are.
for
You're
a little
scientist.
bit, it would
You're
probably
a
be smart.
You're a scientist. Makes sense. And then we're
So we
IT
have-
nerds, so we got to do the cable commission.
Yeah.
And then what about the YOLO Vector? You told me that we couldn't have a council member on. Does it, like, we had to put a council member there?
No, that's the one that you can actually appoint a non-council
Yeah.
member to.
And Bob wanted to stay on it.
I support having Mr. McGarvey on the YOLO
He loves it.
Mosquito and Vector Control District. So moving on, any changes on the slide?
Before you go on that one, you have to be able to define vector.
Mr. Sander, I think
And
Maggie's going to
a
regret
Q,
having.
it's not math.
I think Maggie's going to regret having left the meeting this early if you take any more.
She can't
I
even.
don't know, I'll
she
shed
can't even.
something.
She can't even glare at him when he's stepping on another board. That's good. All right, next.
Okay, let's move to the next slide, please.
So I heard the changes for the Sacramento Area Sewer District. The appointee is Sander and the alternate is Little.
Yeah. So he can go a couple times when he's busy and learn about sewage. Sorry. It's good. It's the new guy.
The library, Mr. Gatewood has passed that on to
All right,
Mr.
so the
Little.
library is near dear to our heart. She fixed it. So, and I'll go through when we have a long discussion about how she fixed it. But they have extra money now because of the tax measure that's passed. We helped pass it and we actually helped fund the passing of that. So there's an extra opportunity for us to get maybe a pop-up library for Rancho Cordova. So I feel like this is a good chance.
Actually, Garrett, remember that the Library Authority is funded in two different categories. And it was only the city of Sacramento who voted on that bond because they were the ones who were running out of money. That was the compartment that was
True that.
running out of money. So the county's portion of that, which all the rest of the cities except for Folsom fall under, is just fine. As you said, you're doing just fine. So, but how we fund another library is really a part of a different discussion.
Okay. So maybe we can, at the time when we do it, but I think this would be an excellent one for you to be on. You can meet some of the council members in Sacramento, start to bond, and now it's just more fun because the communities are engaging and we're trying to improve our library that's nearest, and the library happens to be closest to Lincoln Village. Yeah. So it makes the most sense.
And actually, that's a really good point. Serving on these boards and commissions really is a great way to meet your colleagues. I mean, as YK left. But as YK would tell you, it's a really great way to meet your colleagues around the region and certainly in the county, and, you know, like with SACOG around the region. And it just really helps expand your knowledge of how everybody is working in other areas.
Cool. So, do you need to sit on the Lower American Conservancy Science Guy? Is that a Science Guy
The big
one?
question there is, do they have any more money to distribute? I don't know what the answer is. I know that Donald went to war for us.
And he got us $5 million.
And he got us $5 million in the last round. So if that's the kind of situation where you need to go to war, then you want people who
You want our heavies in
are
there.
up to that and know people, ideally, have personal relationships.
Got it. Okay. So,
So I would say seniority would be good there. I don't
Okay.
particularly, I don't see a need. I could have it. Linda could probably handle it well. I don't know if she can be mean enough.
no, she can't be mean. She's
We could
not
throw
mean.
Garrett in the room, but then who knows what happens.
You get $25 million.
That might be it,
You
yes.
get $25 million. That's what happens.
That might be it.
Of course.
Or the new guy might be able to sweet talk his way in there as, I'm, young and
I'm
new
just the
and
young guy. I just need $5
My
million.
city
bucks.
really needs this.
It
and-
might be a good one because, he doesn't know we got 20, whatever money
Right.
we got, right? So he'll be like fresh out the start, asking for more.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know what I'm talking about on this one.
Okay. Well, this one's an excellent one for us to get more data on when we bring up in this discussion. The Sacramento County Criminal Justice Cabinet, does our lawyer need to be in that one?
No, actually, what happens with that, it is always the mayor,
Okay.
and most of the mayors send the police chief to that meeting. And Brandon and I both attended last year, which was really interesting. But you and Matt would be going, or you could send Matt in your place, but it's really only the mayor that's invited.
Okay. What does it go over?
Oh, actually, you have representatives from the district attorney, from the public defender's office, from all the social service agencies. It's just really a whole bunch of county agencies that, the courts,
You know what?
everything that has to do with law enforcement and criminal justice in Sacramento County.
Okay. Yeah, little, you're close to it.
But
so you
the-
got to get this.
Yeah,
I'm on the
but-
cusp.
You're on the cusp.
Yeah.
So we're going to send Siri. All right. That's good. I'm good with that group.
So there's no changes on page 3?
No. And the city county selection committee never meets.
That's sad.
Yay.
They met once in 2004 or something or other. And that's why we only serve on LAFCO once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I'm like that.
And just for the record, this appointment would say I'm giving up GSEC, Greater Sacramento Economic Council, to the mayor.
All right. Which honestly would be a good mayor thing to mayor do.
Yeah.
And then for the Sacramento Homeless Policy Council, me, Joe, and I think this would be a good one for us to tackle, especially also seeing a large chunk of homeless community happens to live in the Lincoln Village area. And I think we need to really start to focus on that. So I'm good with this for now, until we have a long discussion.
Yeah, we have actually decent staff representation on those conversations as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so this is an eye chart, Councilmember Little, so
So do we need a motion to adopt this?
We do, but are we good with page 5 first?
Do you want to check page 5 out?
And public comment?
So we got Golden State Water, Sac Metro Fire. It's me and you, Linda. We're knocking it out. The signage thing, I still think we should have my name in there. Growing Strong Neighborhoods. So Little is really interested in this one, just so you know, David. He hasn't had the Growing Strong Neighborhoods speech, and that's critical for Lincoln Village because you're both on actually the same page about growing
Absolutely.
Lincoln Village into a stronger community. And now that Lincoln Village actually has a direct representative, which is very exciting, he can really champion this kind of thing.
On what?
Growing Strong Neighborhoods.
Oh.
They're excited. Like he has. It just makes sense. And then I can't wait to meet with the Cordova Park Rec District. You didn't have to laugh. That was messed up. And then, of course, our innovation committee is the two nerds, so we got that locked in. And then, anything else?
So, Mr. Gatewood?
Yes.
Since you've taken water, do you want me to get on Metro Fire?
Taking water?
Golden State Water?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you take Metro? Actually, you know what? Let me take Metro Fire. And you take. Oh no, you know what? You take Metro Fire. I'll take Golden State Water.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. So flip out my name for Siri at the fire.
Neither one of you live in the Golden State Water Service area.
I'm not on Golden State Water, he is.
Who lives in that area? You do? Can you flip my name for Linda's and I'll be here second?
She's already
You're already
on
on it. I'm
I'm
with
on
you.
it.
I'm with you. Just tell me if it's bad. Is David in? Are
Actually-
you in that area?
No, no, they're both in Cal-Am.
But
No, David isn't.
I hate to use that D word that we now have. Let's say zone. So the zone that I live in,
has it?
Like
No, you're
like Sun
Cal-Am.
River?
No, you're Cal-Am.
What's Sun River then?
The dividing line is basically Matherfield Road and Paseo Drive and sort of draw a line straight up and down
Okay.
in Rancho
So
Cordova.
people
that Joe?
I represent are in it,
Okay.
I guess.
Yes,
Okay. David's in
That's
it.
accurate.
I'm out.
I
So
really don't want,
change my name.
Actually, hold on. No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to figure out people by where they live, since they represent the city, and we do represent the city. If that's the only reason you're changing your vote, council member
I just think
Gatewood?
that someone that actually has
That's fair.
some
I'm just saying-
experience in the Golden State Water would be
Because we're
best.
not, yeah. we're
Yeah,
just-
totally. I
we-
feel you. Yeah, we don't want to start drawing ourselves into
Golden
districts.
State Water encompasses multiple districts.
Fair point.
Let's put it that way.
And since it runs through, so David, this one's yours. So go ahead and switch my name out and put David there, and then Siri can do fire.
We only meet like twice a year.
Is there any other thing we can stick David on?
no.
Don't do that.
I think there's another slide after this, aren't
Oh
there?
yeah, is there another slide?
No?
There's
we're
not.
good. Okay.
Oh, can we make some new committees?
Okay, let's go to public comment, please.
So the two changes that I heard was Golden State Water Company, we are removing Gatewood and adding Sander.
Excellent.
And for Sacramento Metro Fire District, we are removing Gatewood and adding Pulapati.
Perfect.
Okay. Yes, public comment. We have James Garcia. James, you'll have up to 3 minutes.
Hi, James Garcia, a resident of Stone Creek. My questions is really, it's more questions on this topic, since you stated that there's a form that has to be filled out as to when is that actually due? When is the actual form to make the designations permanent, or are they allowed to be changed on a monthly or quarterly or whatever type of basis? Because you all want to get together, have a nice discussion, like I said, in further detail as to who really should be on there long-term. So can it be changed, say, after you meet in January? Because our next council meeting's not until January, so you don't have time unless you create a special one, which I don't think you really have a whole lot of time to do, especially with the holiday. So just want to make sure that you are doing the right thing. Having the discussion to who really needs to be on this board or commission. Do you have a legal opportunity to change it after said discussion of your planned retreat in January? So want to make sure that you're doing it right. So those are my big questions. Is it possible to change it, say, in March or whenever, before 2026's appointments are needed? So just want to make sure that you're doing that, and then account for this type of discussion in the future, since all of you will be here at least for another year as well. So that means you have an opportunity to go ahead and make that recommendation, say, in November of next year for your 2026 appointment. And am I cutting out? It seems like I am. Okay.
No, you're right.
All right, just making sure. But just that's my concern, is making sure that you're doing it right, have enough an opportunity to make a change if you need to. So thanks.
I think the quick answer is we can change any of them at any time.
Sure.
And none of the agencies have a problem with that, although of course they'd prefer to have it long in advance, but we've all seen it happen all over the place.
Yeah. So with that, I will move approval of the list as we have made changes.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Sander,
Aye.
Councilmember Budge,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Gatewood,
Yep.
Mayor Pulapati.
Yes. So I think the motion passes. Okay. Moving on to agenda item 17.2, I'll ask the city clerk to announce the subject.
Discussion of the Planning Commission selection and appointment process.
I'll ask Darcy Goulart for the staff report.
Good evening, Mayor Pulapati, members of the council, Darcy Gallart with Community Development. I have a very brief presentation for you this evening if you desire that.
Yes.
So tonight's presentation is in regards to the Planning Commission discussion and direction on appointments. So tonight we're going to provide you with a report on the current process, and then we're going to look to council to give any direction on any changes that you may wish to make on the current process. Just a real brief background is with the recent general election and the terms of office, we have 3 existing regular planning commission members whose terms are up. So on the screen before you, it lists each commissioner and who they were nominated by. Those terms are up at the end of this month. So we have 3 listed on the screen. Now, given that we're now on this district-based elections, staff felt it was an appropriate time to just review the appointment process and if you wish to make any changes to direct us to do so. So with that, we are hoping that any new planning commissioners that are nominated and appointed to fill these vacant seats can be done within a time frame that they can attend the Planning Commissioner Academy that's done by the League of California Cities in March. So option 1, which is the current process and staff's recommendation, is that each regular Planning Commission member is required to reside within the boundaries of the city limits. The second part of that process is that each council member nominates an individual Planning Commission member, and then by a majority vote, that commission member is then seated. The benefits of this current process is that it does remain open to all residents regardless of where they reside in the city. It provides an opportunity for them to apply during any election cycle. It expands potential opportunities for that applicant pool, as well as it provides an opportunity for existing members that may be seated to be reappointed if they are interested. It also provides some consistency with the existing Planning Commission, which is still relatively new. This is also in line with how many surrounding jurisdictions appoint their planning commissioners. So most in the region have this particular process where it's a nomination and then a majority vote. Option number 2 would be that the regular planning commission members shift to a requirement that they live in the district boundaries of the nominating city council member. So this could result in the inability of some of our existing members to actually reapply or be reappointed. It could also result in double representation through the end of 2026. Option number 3 would be to implement 1 or 2, 1 being the current process, 2 being a switch, but also to change the nomination process from being nominated and a majority vote to just having that council member appoint an individual planning commission member. This is not known to be used widely in the immediate region or in the state. We haven't found an example where this actually occurs. So just to recap, staff's recommendation would be to keep the process as is. But if the council wishes to make some changes, we request that you direct us to do so, and we would come back with those modifications in January. And with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
City Clerk, do we go with public comment first?
We can.
Okay.
Jim Garcia, we'll start with Jim. Following Jim will be Sarah Malone, James Garcia, Helen Whalen Bashaw.
Good evening, Jim Garcia with Lincoln Village. I've been there for 47 years now.
And congratulations again on your new roles for the mayor and vice mayor, and welcome to our new council member that came from District 3. As all of you noticed, this last election cycle was very competitive. It was kind of a nail biter for some people, I think probably for Councilmember Little, that it wasn't, it was all the way up to the very end. It was very competitive in District 3. So as you know, there is a lot of interest in our community to have some kind of recognition of Lincoln Village, more than just a Lincoln Village parade and a few other things that are going on in the area. But we also, one thing that I've noticed over the last 47 years of living here in Rancho Cordova is that the growth has been mostly eastward. Capitol Village, Stone Creek, Sun River, you name it, everything east of Lincoln Village and Mather. All of that, the growth and attention has been on economic development, more on the east side of the community. And so now we're really thrilled to have an opportunity to have someone that comes from Lincoln Village and represents Countryside and Mather and has lived in the area and will be more in tune of what has been going on in this area and hopefully come up with more opportunities for more attention given to this area. I know I heard the D word a little bit earlier, and I think you don't really want to have representation by district or acknowledgement that a person that's elected for a city council position represents a specific district and is solely dedicated to providing advocacy for that district alone. We don't see it that way. We see it as, no, it's again, all-inclusive. You're looking at it from a citywide perspective, but also someone has direct ties to the community. It's been acknowledged quite a bit earlier by all of you, whether it's a library or some other things that are of interest to the council, that you respect its new vision coming through, a new member with a new opportunity to look at things differently. So for I think our district, people that are living in Lincoln Village and Countryside, would also strongly recommend option 2, to have the Planning Commission have a representative that come from each one of the districts. I think it's necessary, so that way the Planning Commission will have a better vision of what's going on in the district and kind of be able to speak collectively with at the commission level with regular insight of what's going on. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of qualified people in our district that would be more than willing to join the group and provide good input to the commission.
Please wrap up your comments.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Sarah Malone.
Hello, good evening. It's good to be back. I haven't been here in a while. Want to welcome the new mayor. It's great to see you up here, and our vice mayor, and to our new council member. Congratulations. Glad to have you aboard. You're in for a wild ride. Enjoy it.
I'm ready for it.
A lot of what he said for the representation. I'm Sarah Malone. I'm from Stone Creek neighborhood, and I've been pretty active in opposing warehouses built in near our residences. And I feel if someone from option 2, if someone is elected from our district, they would have a little more investment in what goes on in our neighborhood and near our residences, and can represent that to the city as a whole, and also represent the city as a whole. I think that they would have a dual role, of course. I wouldn't want to take away from that, but I think it's important to have someone that knows your community, that lives in your community, and can best represent you. Thank you.
Next speaker is James Garcia.
James Garcia, again, Stone Creek. Want to basically piggyback off everybody else's. Again, we are a city as one. The Planning Commission should represent that as one. However, we do need that local isolated aspect of having a district representative for this. The fact that the arguments were that we'd have an overlap, well, that was actually a council decision when they decided on the district election process, which district went first. We left off one neighborhood. So we actually have a neighborhood that doesn't have a city council member officially assigned to them right now until 2026, when that district gets to have theirs. So if we're going to do that, doesn't matter. Right now, we already had members that could be in the same neighborhood, in the same district. So having it citywide means you could have 5 members, technically all in one neighborhood, one district. So that also doesn't fly as a reason why to go with option 1. You really should go with option 2. I would direct staff to go ahead and change the Rancho Cordova Municipal Code, Chapter 2.30, and go ahead and go with option 2. So that way we can have a more localized input on there. We wish we would have different city maps in different districts, but that's neither here nor there. That'll be the next time we have a census, when we can actually adjust as our city does grow. But we do need to have a localized input. Smaller neighborhoods, community can grow. Just like we have our schools, they're smaller schools, neighborhood schools. We want to have our neighborhood planning commission too. Thank you.
Next speaker is Helen Whalen-Bashaw.
Greetings. I must say I like the arrangement with having Micah over here. It gives more open with the council people. Good job, whoever decided on that. As far as this issue goes, I agree with the other speakers. Districting was important, and I do believe the representative on the Planning Commission should be from a district, because each district is kind of unique in its own. And when you have a planning commission that has everybody in 2 areas, they get focused on certain things. And I believe that a city as a whole needs equal representation in all the activities, because sometimes politically you have a bigger pull from certain neighborhoods with certain people, where the little people who have some brilliant ideas don't really get to speak out. And I believe that of all the places we've had, Lincoln Village itself has kind of been left in the dark. So I believe we need to have planning commissioners associated with each one of the districts. Thank you.
The last public comment was sent by email from Sergio Diaz. It has been distributed to the council, placed on the city's website, and is printed in the council chambers.
Thank you. Can I open it up to council members for their comments, questions? I can go this way. We can start with Council Member Sander.
Serving as a planning commissioner is not a simple task. It's actually a remarkably difficult task, particularly if you're coming from a background that doesn't give you some sort of exposure to building, contracting, engineering, something in that realm. Planning. Because there's a lot of technical stuff. There's a lot of, you're not going to see it very often. The learning curve is just incredibly steep. And so I think probably the most successful planning commissioners I've seen are people who have held those jobs for a long period of time, because I've seen more, done more. In the running of our planning commission right now, I don't know, Micah, what % of meetings are we canceling because there's nothing for them to do? Half?
Probably about
2/3?
half right now, right, Darcy? The kind of third.
Canceling half or a third. So that's even a slower learning curve. And the challenge is something will come up. And if you haven't seen it before or thought about it before, or understand what you can do about it or what the range of possibilities are, it's just difficult. So what I see cities around the state doing are trying to build expertise in their planning commission. And usually the strategy is to leverage someone who already has some skill in that. You don't just want professionals, you want some sort of a balance. But I think in, Planning Commission 1, which we did, I don't remember what year, Linda, what we saw as a result of that was almost no professional experience on the Planning Commission.
We had one person.
And we had significant dysfunction in that body as a result. People who just didn't understand sort of the bounds of the technical, or we had to pull an awful lot of things up that the planning commission had voted on, and then we as a city council had to pull them up and reverse it. It's just a matter of experience. So I'm not as interested in tying these appointments to lines on maps. I'm more interested in the expertise of the individual. And I think, though, in everything we do, we should never discount a particular neighborhood. But I'm not sure having a planning commissioner assigned to a zone or an area is actually a benefit. Because the planning commissioners are doing their jobs. They're visiting every single site. They're using their spare time and driving around the community and looking at neighborhoods they don't know. Ask my family about how that works. You know, you never drive through Rancho Cordova the same way. You always find some other route to drive through and look at something you haven't seen. So I think, you know, there may be some turnover coming to planning commission, but we should be very cautious about disposing of expertise or setting ourselves up so that we can't pick the best candidate and we're stuck with another sort of boundary condition that doesn't necessarily lead to a long-term, really happy, healthy, experienced planning commission. And I would, by the way, suggest that, you know, if we can do more education with our planning commission, given the sort of light load they've had, that'd probably be a great idea. Like if all of them went to those planning commissioner retreats, that would be a good standard. Or if we could do more educational sessions with them, that would probably be a good thing as well.
Yeah. So I would follow David's comments. Decades ago, when I first got appointed to Corpac, a neighbor and I agreed that we would never vote on a project that we hadn't personally seen. You know, that we would go out and look at everything. And, you know, those were the days when there really wasn't much going on in Rancho Cordova, but we absolutely went out and looked at everything. Currently, our planning commission is composed of somebody who lives in, you know, this is anathema to me, but somebody who lives in District 1, somebody who lives in either District 1 or 2, which was not on the ballot this year, somebody who lives in Stone Creek, 2 who live in the basically east of Sunrise, and I'm probably not remembering everybody. But like David, I chose the person that I thought was most qualified to bring expertise to the Planning Commission, because there's no question, and I'm sure staff, who has tried diligently to pour everything they know as planners and lawyers and whatnot into the heads of the Planning Commission. I'm sure that every one of us really wants to find a very qualified candidate. We also, and any way you look at it, Mr. Little, who represents Lincoln Village and Countryside, has an opportunity to appoint somebody that he wants to see there. And so while you can't force people to apply for something like this, I'm sure that, based on the comments we've had, there'll be people knocking on your door saying, appoint me. So, and so we would hope it would be that way. But it's really important that we have people who know something about what they're supposed to be doing, and simply can be, their education can be refreshed or whatever by the planning department and the legal department. So I am perfectly comfortable with the person that I have appointed. They definitely live, like I said, either in District 1 or 2, just somewhere north of Folsom Boulevard, and that's really important.
Through the mayor, if I may, just very briefly, I do think that, you know, we appreciate the comments about experience. We did also closely, carefully write the ordinance to make sure that it was easy for the council to make adjustments to the composition of the commission when you needed to. so that there was the opportunity for a combination of experience and fresh ideas, and also fit and chemistry. And I think that the ordinance does give those opportunities.
I also, at this time, I think we don't want to ham tie ourselves, because if we go out and someone's trying to find someone and they can't find someone in their district, it's just not a good idea, because you're going to do your best to try to get representation. We all want to have someone that represents our district well. I also think that, if someone wants to change, which I'll probably be asking to do, and switch out and look for someone at the time of another planning commissioner, they should be able to do that and pick it from any area, as long as they think they're a good fit for the area at the time. So, I mean, I don't want to ham time anybody. I do think everyone's going to try to pick someone from their district that has experience, but in the end, I think one of the smartest things we did was put 2 or 3 people that were planners on this thing to make sure that because also planning commission not only is planning, but it also is a training ground for the next city councilman in the area, because they need a place to sit, to learn about what it takes, because this is not an easy job just to step into. So I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for right now. So I think we leave it at number 1, leave it alone, and kind of just keep moving forward with the emphasis that we already know that we're going to try to find someone in an area, but if we can't find them, then there's no reason to force someone in. You don't want to make someone that doesn't want to be there be a part of their planning commission.
Thank you. Councilmember Little?
Yeah, so I'm really split on this one because obviously I benefited from districting. Makes the most sense to me. By population and geography, it's the fairest system. However, I will echo the hypothetical concerns raised by some of my colleagues have been very real for me. I put out a call for potential planning commissioners. I think I got, for Lincoln Village, Countryside, South White Rock, I got 1 bite, and there was no resume there. And so I do see option 2, like Garrett said, hamstringing me, because finding someone that's interested, and people are busy in Lincoln Village, and to come do this, and it doesn't really, barely, basically doesn't pay. So it's been tough finding someone who I can trust to put in the role in Lincoln Village, who is both qualified and I know has good politics, going to make the right decisions. And so I've actually brought in my search, and it is what it is. But like I said, I like option 2 just because I like districts. It's just kind of the way everything's sort of going, but it has its drawbacks, so I'm not in love with either.
Thank you. And I agree with most of my colleagues here that we need the best person on the job. We had to go into by districts. That is not something that we chose. We were forced into it, and I would not want to force that into our planning commission. And like Councilmember Little said, and Councilmember Gatewood, that we will pick a person from the place that we are elected from. But, if we don't find somebody that is interested, qualified, and fits that role, we should reach out to the broader Rancho Cordova region. So I am also in favor of option 1. And with that, can I ask for a motion?
I will move approval of option 1 as presented by the Planning Department tonight.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Budge?
Yes.
Councilmember Sander?
Aye.
Councilmember Little?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gatewood?
Yes.
Mayor Pulapati?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I might ask Darcy to kind of talk a little bit about what happens next now from a process standpoint.
So what will happen next is that we do have some vacancies. Obviously, we have the 3 vacancies on the Planning Commission. So with Mayor Pulapati and Councilmember Sander, you have the ability to reappoint the person that you previously appointed if they are interested. And then Councilmember Little can select. So we will do a 3 to 4, probably 4 weeks, because we have the holiday coming up, application process. And then staff will review the applications to meet the minimum qualifications, and then we will bring those back to council for selection. So part of that process could be the reappointment of existing members if they are interested in continuing another term. So that will likely occur, based upon the timing, it will likely be the first meeting in February, but if we can get those appointments done in February, we will have time to get everybody to the training in March. And then we'll continue doing some additional training.
I will reappoint. No mystery.
Okay.
I will reappoint Surrender Devarapalli as well.
Thank you.
You have free reign.
Sorry, what? I wasn't listening.
They're going to reappoint their 2 planning commissioners,
Yeah.
so you're going to be the one that
So-
gets the fresh new one.
Awesome.
You could either pick from the planning commissions that are there, or you could get your own.
You could also reappoint, kinda, since we have one member leaving,
Yeah.
as it looks.
I've already got someone in mind.
all right.
Really bright lady. I like
I
her.
like that. Done, lady. Done.
Have them apply. We got this.
So legally, do we have to go out with a request for bids? I mean, a request for
Request for bids.
for planning commissioners?
So the way the ordinance is currently written, yes, we would still have to do a call for applications. So I would encourage Councilmember Little to have your potential representative to apply, and then we will bring those applications forward.
Okay, so, but it would be for only the 3 seats?
Correct,
Okay,
correct. But it sounds like 2 of those seats are going to be reappointed.
right.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do we move on to the next agenda item?
We can, yes.
Okay. Okay, we're almost at the end. Council members, do you have any requests for any future agenda items?
Yes, I'd like to transition my planning commissioner and have access to the group that Joe Little's going out with. The group that he's bringing in.
So that's a topic for the next council meeting?
How does that work, Adam?
I think Mr. Gabe was just asking to add that agenda item. I think it's already on the agenda. It sounds like it's actually already going to be an agenda item, but you would be, with his request, adding to that agenda item the removal of the current appointee. So I think you would just add, I understand the request to be, a request to add to that agenda item the removal of his current appointee. You would consider that with, at the same time as the potential replacement of, and selection by Mr. Gatewood of a new nominee that would be considered by the council. Did I understand the request correctly?
That nailed it. Does that?
Well, I think do we have to actually do the removal before or can we do them at the same time? Just trying to sequence the.
It might be, to some extent, tidier to do the removal first, especially if we have a few weeks. So you could bring the removal back at the next council meeting as a separate item, or you could put them together really at the manager's suggestion. I think it arguably might be, more polite to those involved to separate the two, the removal and the appointment, one a more celebratory kind of event.
We'll let you figure out how you want to do it, but I think that was his request to add it. And do we need a vote to add it, or?
Just need 3 majority to agree to put it
That's
on the
fine. I got it.
agenda.
Okay,
So I'm seeing. Okay.
we got 3,
Yep,
okay.
Got 3.
Okay, any other agenda topics? Hearing none.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Okay, I gotta ask, do we have anybody you want to close in memory of?
No, thank you.
Oh, whoa.
Just
This is a first.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Happy
Now-
New Year. Feliz Navidad.
Didn't say it.
Now, Siri,
Prospero Año Nuevo.
Siri, did you do the online training for how to use that thing in your right hand?
I'm
Careful.
just gonna,
Okay, it's not a beat. You're not trying to get a beat.
I honestly hope somebody isn't passing every council meeting so that we don't always have somebody to adjourn to memory of.
That's
yeah.
true.
No,
That's
you
true.
can, no, it's not always in memory of, it's, for fun, you could adjourn, recognizing,
Someone's dead.
the happy holidays.
Love it. Hit it.
Okay, but hold on. Anybody else wants to go? Okay. Hearing none, the meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council is adjourned.
Hey.
Happy holidays, everyone.
She's very excited.